Hey guys, it's the Conic. And with day one basically done and dusted at this point, I thought it was a decent time to showcase my character, kind of give my thought process going into day two, and just talk about how the experience has been so far. And again, give a kind of guideline for those people who want to follow along with the progress and have a sort of structured guide for any who are following the build. Starting off, Act 1, I basically just use Essence Drain Contagion. That skill is very strong right now, and all you need is a wand that has plus level of chaos or increased spell damage or chaos damage or whatever else. But Essence Drain Contagion is very strong right now. So Act 1, I took these nodes exactly as you see them. I didn't plan on respecing for like chaos or anything like that, and Essence Drain just carried for that, for the very low minion zone that you get in Act 1. And from a minion point of view, from Act 1 all the way to Act 4, you can just run skeletal snipers. Snipers are very good. They will get you all the way. If you want to, you can use Valguards when you get them. I'm not a big fan of the lack of visual clarity, but hey, that's me. Anyways, so once you get out of here, you want to prioritize getting your revive node. Once you have this revive, you prioritize getting this because you want your minions reviving ASAP, and they have a decent amount of damage just even with just these nodes selected. Then once you have your revive nodes, I personally went for movement speed, attack, cast speed, and then once I had this, I pathed for break armor. Now this break armor node is not the most impactful, but the reason, at least early on, but the reason I felt it was needed was because it's extra minion damage I get to take along the way, and at this point the only sources of minion damage are these nodes, so it just felt like really good DPS increase at the time. And then it would be a shame to have to come back to this later, so I just took this. But you can also just leave this until later, and when your minions actually have enough damage to shred a meaningful amount of armor. Then from there, you want to prioritize getting your minion revive here. You want to pick up as much attack cast speed as possible, and then getting you don't need the AoE node immediately. You just want to have the damage. You only want to go AoE if one of two reasons: you're close to getting your brutes, so you want to start stacking AoE, or you're going like Valguards, like I said. If you're not doing any of that, you don't need the AoE. Then from there, we just go straight for here. We don't get this yet. We go straight for reservation efficiency, and once you get your reservation efficiency, then you can come down here. And now for me, because I actually get to use brutes, which is like the biggest downside of brutes, is you don't actually get them until level 52, which is basically well into Act 4. But now that I am here, I got to pick up my AoE nodes, and of course some defensive nodes coming from the res and max res. But I pathed down here because of overwhelming presence to make it easier to stun. But my experience so far is that my brutes are doing so much damage that it hasn't been the most worth it pathing down here, because it's becoming too effective to stun to the point where I occasionally even drop overwhelming presence for Claire, and it feels really good. So I will likely take out these points and respec them somewhere else. I'm going to keep testing it, but right now I have so much damage and such stun threshold that I don't think I need the aura magnitude. That being said, late game is very likely that we still will need it, but I think we're going to have to play this touch and go and see just how well they feel with and without the aura magnitude and even overwhelming presence at this point. If I do not go for these nodes, what would I go for instead? I think a very solid choice would be going for expendable army. If you have as much spirit as I have, 380. Do I have 380? I do not remember if I have 380. I have a decent amount of spirit in the 300. I just don't know if it's 380. But if you have a lot of spirits, you could consider grabbing Gigantic. I am not sold on if I have enough increased reservation efficiency to offset this yet. I don't think I do, and I don't think I want to. I don't think I want to drop the 6 brutes I have, or any one of my brutes. So it's probably going to be a case of when I get more reservation from where I am now, I will pick up Gigantic. But until then, I'm going to leave this alone, because Gigantic, if you don't know what it does, it gives you it gives all your minions Gigantic, which is a buff that gives you 20% more damage, 20% more life, and 20% more size, which is of course just really good to have. But yeah, I haven't picked up Gigantic yet. Past that, and other notes to look out for are this one. When you really start going into ES, I don't have that much ES scaling, so I haven't really done that so far. But this is another note to have, plus the revive speed. This just makes it so when your minions naturally revive, so this wouldn't work with Grim Feast and stuff like that, but when they naturally revive, which is what they call reformed, then your ES recharge rate will stop. And the idea here is you're going to stack energy shield recharge rates and just ignore faster start of recharge shield, so your ES, once your minions revive, it just gets boosted, which is what we're going to be doing in the late game, I believe. We'll have to see how that feels as well. But yeah, that's pretty much the skill tree. Now for skills and items, my priority going into the league was getting an early enfolding done, so the 100 free spirit was really strong. There are no more uniques I'm really going for. If the bones of Valor drop in price, I might end up picking it up, but alternatively I might just keep rare boots. Like it's nice, it's a very big nice to have, and if I do get bones of Valor, then I will be 100% picking up the gigantic at that point, because I would have enough reservation that I think it will be worth it. But right now we'll see how it goes. Right now I don't know that it's worth the money. If maybe when I get to maps, I will have it, I will feel differently. But going through the campaign, there are some other things I could spend that money on, like, you know, this amulet, for example, with spirit and levels cost me 10 exalts, and for example the boots, when I checked, were like 20 exalts, 25 exalts. So if you can afford it, go for it, but I mean, I couldn't. If you're enjoying the content and you haven't already, do consider liking and subscribing, as it helps a lot with the algorithm and with our 2025 goal of getting 2,000 subs, after which I will be doing a face reveal on stream and here on YouTube. Aside the boots, nothing much changes in the gear department, except now we have a new crafting method that kind of acts like a pseudo crafting bench called Desecration. It's basically just the abyss mechanic. You use the dropped bone pieces to craft modifiers. That's how I got my +1 all minion skills. It basically works like Betrayal from PoE1, where you get a selection of 3 modifiers when you unveil it, and you get to pick one of the modifiers as the option as what should be crafted on your gear. I use that to get +1 on scepters. I haven't seen any unique mobs, any unique modifiers that come from this mechanic yet, at least from the gear I have desecrated, but I assume maybe in higher item levels, or you know, there'll be other options that might be unique to Abyss, so we'll have to see. And then on the skill section, there is a very big skill that is not being shown here because it isn't supported by POB, and that is Ravenous Swarm. It is a very strong persistent gem, and it only costs 30 spirits. I think it's 100% worth the cost, simply because of how much extra damage it just feels like very free extra damage. Like, it's for 30 spirits, you can get multiple swarms that do good poison damage and do good physical damage on top of your regular minions. And no matter how many, even if you scale the swarms, you're still only going to be paying that 30 spirit cost. So 100% I recommend having Ravenous Swarm. I think it also really helps. I took it, like in Act 1, I took it over SRS, and I don't regret it. So if there's one takeaway there, you 100% want to be using Ravenous Swarm. But that being said, once you switch to brutes, if you do not have enough spirit to have like 5-6 brutes, I would say at that point you do want to drop Ravenous Swarm for the extra brutes, if that is the difference between getting a brute and not getting a brute. But anyways, then something else to note from this planner is I'm currently using brute and I'm currently using mustard support for them, but it is important to note that terracotta soldiers are currently bugged to my knowledge, and when you go to raise them, you will see that they cost 16 spirits as their reservation cost, but the moment they become a gem, for some reason that spirit cost goes to 53 or something like that. So they are currently not worth using, and I'm not actually using a spectre, so just keep that in mind. They are currently bugged and you should not be using them. So currently in game, my muster only has, I think, about 4 or 5 minions. It has Infernal Hound, it has Warrior, it doesn't have Storm Mage. I don't have a Storm Mage summoned. It has a Sniper, and of course it has Brutes. Yeah, so those are the 4 minions it currently has. And eventually, if Terracotta Soldiers gets bug fixed, then that'll be a good and easy fifth. If they don't, then I will be putting a replacement Spectre for them eventually. I haven't gone through the list to figure out what else is really cheap and makes sense to be there. But we'll probably have another placeholder Spectre just for monster support scaling. And then for snipers, they're here just to do damage. You can have them, you can really scale their poison, or alternatively, you can scale their armor shred through their main skill if you so choose. I find that with this one node, the Splintering Force, we don't actually need other sources of armor shred. Brutes do a lot of physical damage, and things just end up having their armor broken. And even if it's not in instant, they will break it eventually. So I am just going for damage on all my support minions essentially. But yeah, that about sums up my day one progression. Overall, I think minions are in a very, very strong spot, and I think so is Essence Drink Contagion. So it really made leveling very, very easy. Like, it was very easy mode. All bosses died within like 10-15 seconds. It was so chill. I will likely be going live not long after this video goes up, so if you have any questions, you can always stop by there, or of course you can also leave them in the comment section below. If you haven't already, do consider liking and subscribing, as it helps the video out a lot. And with all that said, thank you for watching.